Okay, Jackie, I am showing 10 o'clock my time, and looks like we've got about 30 people on the call, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce you. Jackie is one of my favorite people from my past. We worked together at the Daniels College of Business. That's just. But Jackie Bouvier is a service-oriented bilingual community and faith leader. She is an executive director of the Santa Fe Business Improvement District, a quasi-governmental entity special district in Denver, Colorado. She is CEO and founder of Bouvier and Company, a nonprofit and business consultancy agency, as well as an advisor. She also works on different campaigns supporting candidates with Hispanic strategies to win. She is the current Colorado Multi-Ethnic Coalition president, which serves as a resource hub for Hispanic and multi-ethnic faith leaders in the Colorado area and across the United States, in addition to developing community-based projects. She is also president of Prospanica, a national association of business professionals with an MBA. She is also Denver hub leader for National Hispanic Star movement, which serves the community through national corporate partnerships. Jackie holds an MBA with Daniels College of Business and a Bachelor of Science in Business from the University of Denver. So please welcome Jackie to deliver us a wonderful presentation today. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. I appreciate that so much. And I feel the same way about you. I truly admire you. And I thank you for this opportunity to be here today and to be able to present with everyone what Hispanic Heritage Month is all about for us on behalf of the Hispanic Star movement that is kind of bringing the unity amongst all the different organizations I serve. Thank you so much. All right, I will take it on, and I just want to say that it's an honor. It's a great opportunity to be able to share with you a little bit of the background of Hispanic Star, which is what I'm going to do is just not Hispanic Star, the Hispanic Heritage Month. And I'm basing it, as I said, on the Hispanic Star movement, because Hispanic Star is basically more of something of a movement that brings together the connectivity and the unity amongst different corporations and different Latinos and Hispanics across the country. And I'll tell you more about that as I move along here. But I'd like to just say that I am a servant leader, as Natalie mentioned, and I just want to unite our Hispanics and empower women and Hispanic women, to be exact, in this time of my life, because I believe they were made for such a time as this. The time for Hispanics is now, and Hispanic Heritage Month is the one moment in the year that undeniably belongs to the community, right? And we need to take advantage of it to elevate the narrative of Hispanics in a strong and in a powerful way. The United States, the U.S. Hispanic community is undeniably driving growth and shaping the culture of our country. Our contribution is essential, and it has been solid and consistent throughout the history of America. I came to the United States when I was 6 months old. My parents came for business. I originally was born in El Salvador, Central America. And I've been one of the people here in this country that has pursued an American dream, just as my family did coming to this country. And I want to tell you a little bit about how it originally was in terms of like Hispanic Heritage Month and how it became a month as opposed to a week. Because it was originally Hispanic Heritage Week. This commemorative week was established and signed by Democratic President Lyndon B. Johnson. That was in 1968. 20 years later, in 1988, the week expanded into a month by legislation and signed into law by Republican President Ronald Reagan. I'm sorry about that. It was from September 15th, or it is from, to October 15th. Why? Why is it chosen at this time? Well, many of the Central American countries, as well as Mexico, as many of you know, declared independence on September 15th and September 16th. And as a result of that, it established that independence from Spain, to be exact, thus allowing for the commemorative or the opportunity to have it start in the middle of the month, right, in September, which a lot of people ask, why September 15th? So it's more of a Latin American commemorative to the independence that was established at the time. At this time, I want to go ahead and move on and talk a little bit more about this slide here. Hispanics are driving the country's growth. It's clear. The United States would not exist as it is today without the Latino influence. And it's not just our history. And just in Colorado alone, we're 21% Latino Hispanics. And we're here, we're contributing to this country in every possible way. With more than 60 million Hispanics, which is 18.1% of the population of the country. Now I'm speaking country-wise. By 2050, 1/4 of the population will be Hispanic. By 2060, 1 in every 3 women will be Latina. So clearly we are all the future population of this country, right? Which is why I am so focused on empowering a lot of women who in this particular state are so excited about opening their businesses and starting their small businesses. And I was able to go present to a group of Hispanics that were Hispanic entrepreneurs, and to my shock, I thought it was going to be 5 or 6 of them, and it ended up being 38, mostly women, Latina business owners. And so the numbers is rising. We are the economic power, as well as Hispanic GDP is of 2.6 trillion among the 10 largest GDPs. Latino is the single fastest growing population. If it were a standalone economy, it would be the 8th largest in the world. And then we have a lot of young people. We are youth. Latinos are 25% of the youth of the country. 6 of 10 are millennials or younger, and our median age is 28 years, which is 6 years younger than the median in the country. Here in this slide, here's more evidence of how Latinos are moving up and rising towards the American dream. 8 of 10 new businesses are Latino owned. 66% of new homes are being bought by Latinos. $1.7 trillion are buying power is in buying power, and 162% increase in degrees earned from the year 2000 to the year 2018. So the new mainstream economy. Hispanic is the new mainstream economy. We are the employees and the consumers of tomorrow. We are the workforce. As you can tell in the slide, oh, sorry about that. Latinos are 74% of new workers and are responsible for 82% of the workforce growth in the country. We are the voters and the taxpayers. Like I said, here in Colorado alone, it's 21%. That's a pretty significant number. Latinos are the 2nd largest group of voters in the country and contribute with more than $215 billion in taxes and $100 billion to Social Security. Here we are. We're entrepreneurs and job creators as well. 86% of every new job since the Great Recession has been created by a Latino. Latinas create small businesses 6 times faster than any other group in the country, just as I was saying right now. When I encounter Latinas in events, I was at the fashion show here that happened right in front of the courthouse. It's one of the largest, it is the largest Latino fashion show week. And I encounter so many Latina-owned businesses and entrepreneurs, and it's one of the fastest growing, not only in Colorado, but in the country. Latinos are leading the way in the small business front. The number of Latino-owned businesses has grown 34% over the last 10 years, compared to just 1% of other small businesses. Before COVID-19, Latino-owned companies registered 25% of growth in revenue. That's huge. The power of Latinas, the power of entrepreneurship, and the power of business growth is just amazing. Afro-Latinos are making an impact. 1 in 3 African Americans are Latinos. 79.5% participate in the US workforce. 500 billion USD is the Afro-Latino GDP, making it one of the top 25 global economies. We are the future consumers. Companies need to care about the power of the Hispanic market, the marketing efforts, the way that it is marketed. We are the consumers of the future, as we count for 20% of the 18 to 34 key marketing. Demographic. This demographic is projected to grow up 25% in the next 5 years. So the way you market to a consumer, the way you market to Hispanic, the way you market to Latinos in this country has to be very, very well thought out in terms of how you touch and touch that community in a marketing perspective. In comparison with the general population, Latinos are using social network 75% more, spending a total of 6 hours a day on social media. So if you want to attract a Latino, you know where to find them, including my grandmother on social media. And my mother, of course, who posts pictures of all her grandbabies. So if she knows how to use anything, it's social media. Other than that, she can't even use her phone. Hispanics have a history of serving our country. The United States, as we know it, would not exist without Hispanics in terms of, let me tell you, cattle and horses were brought to the United States territory by Spanish newcomers. And this was in the 16th century. 10,000 of the 80,000 American soldiers who fought in the war for independence were Hispanic. Luis Miguel Castro was the first Hispanic to play in a major league baseball in 1902. Joaquin Quiroga pioneered freight between Yuma and Tucson around the time Wells Fargo was established. So the idea also behind Hispanic Star is that we need to include this in history books. Can you imagine how the country would see us? And more importantly, how would we see ourselves and how our children would see themselves, seeing what other Hispanics have done in this country to contribute for the history of the United States of America. What about today? Latinos are shaping the culture, as you all know. Latin culture is impregnating every area of society. It's something we call Latinidad, and it's here to stay. As you know, it just continues to grow, and as you know, the slide in front of you can demonstrate a lot of the different cultural backgrounds of the different cultural country influences, starting from Mexico all the way down to Brazil, and how that Latinidad is a culture. It's not, and then there's something very important to note there is that even though, you know, it's Latinidad, it's a culture within cultures, because from Mexico all the way down to Brazil, there's different cultural Latino cultures. So even like, for example, in my country where I was born, I say my country when in reality, I feel like the United States was my country. I came when I was 6 months old, like I said. But I went back in 2016 with the city of Aurora, just as a partner to support a delegation to open to help open the Salvadoran consulate. And going to El Salvador was just a cultural shock for me because I had not been there since 1998 at the time. And so just seeing the culture, seeing the way things are done, the type of food that you eat, and then, you know, just thinking about that and how that cultural aspect comes to this country from a first, second generation. And then you think of the 9, 10 generation when I was in the Latino Leadership Institute, and I was just kind of woke into understanding all these other generations that have been here in this country longer or were in this country before the country was the United States. So all of these different cultural backgrounds and aspects all conglomerated and come together to Latinidad, right? Where it's a cultural of Hispanics, but there are values and principles that come together in terms of family, music, food, and all these different aspects that make that Latinidad. Latinos are number one. For example, I know this is we're all Latino at heart. Facebook, Shakira is number one. Instagram, Selena Gomez is number one. YouTube, Despacito is the video with more views of all time. Spotify, Bad Bunny and J Balvin are number one and number three. Not only that, Latino music, the revenue growth outpaced the overall United States music market. The industry grew 13%, of which Latin music is accounted for 5%. And even in that, you know. And here are the shared values or the principles or the different values I was talking about. And we And we will continue to grow, succeed, and increase these numbers because of our values. Latinos are an active and trusted part of the community. Hard work, fighters, ambition, optimistic, friends, family, priorities, integrity, just that the unity that comes from that base is very powerful to understand in terms of how the shared values are. 18% of active enlisted corps are Hispanic. 19 million Latinos are essential workers. 1 in 4 childcare professionals are Latinos. 75% see Latinos are positive contributors to this country. 62% would trust their own children to a Latino. So here's a little bit more of Hispanic shared values. Supporting each other is the Latino way. We have aspirations. We are hard workers, fighters, ambitious. The values I'm talking about: optimism, family-oriented, principled in terms of the integrity of the different trustworthy feels and feelings that we have in terms of our values, right? And it's very important to understand that 8 in 10 of young Latinos say that most people can get ahead in life if they work hard. Young Latinos have higher aspirations in career success. 45% of Hispanics who grew up in the lowest income quintile made it to the middle class or even higher. Young Latinos are optimistic about their futures. I'm a perfect example of that in terms of I'm the first one to ever have gotten a master's degree here in the United States and in my family, but that paved the way to inspire my siblings and other cousins to do so, and so they did as well. It's clear we are the citizens, the future population, the voters, the middle class of the America, the students, the workforce, the entrepreneurs who succeed, the job makers as contributors to this country. And yet, this is a part where it's important to understand, despite all the amazing contributions we make to this country, we are still underrepresented, misrepresented, and undervalued. It makes no sense. We're powerful but act weak. We're big but act small. We're 18% of the population but just 1% in politics. We're 18% of the population but less than 1% in primetime program TV characters. And also we are more than how we are normally portrayed on TV and movies. So as you can see in the slide here, underrepresented, misrepresented, and undervalued. And I can share these slides with you if you'd like to have them. We're
Sure, Jackie,
Sorry?
I said, sure, Jackie, that would be great.
Oh, okay.
I'll send it out after. Okay.
Awesome, yeah. We are 17% of the workforce, but 4.3% of executive suite members. 70% of nearly 350 Fortune 500 companies do not have a Hispanic on their board. Latinas are the minority within the minority. For every dollar earned by a white non-Hispanic man or men, Latinas make 53 cents less. They have to work twice as hard or nearly twice as long to take home the same paycheck. If Latinas were paid equally, that would represent more than $500 billion to the national income in 1 year. Worst of all, nearly 1 in 3 Americans don't even know this gap exists. And I know this is a very busy slide, so like I said, we can share all this with you. There's also a perception problem for Latinas as non-Hispanics only defined by their physical, stereotypical, such as being sexy, loud, beautiful. Latinas get paid 47% less for the same job. They hold less than 1% of senior level positions. They represent only 2% of STEM employees, 7.2 hours per day in unpaid care and household work versus 4 for non-Latinas. Despite all of the barriers, Latinas are on the rise. And here are some of the Latinas reaching for the stars. as I said, this Hispanic Star movement is basically highlighting Latinos, highlighting Hispanics in the country, women or men that are on the rise, that whoever is Hispanic or Latino, just kind of given them a voice and an opportunity to be showcased as a Hispanic Star. So we need everyone to step forward and speak up, not only about the power of Hispanics, but also about the need to unify, about the imperative of not focusing on our differences, but on our similarities in order for all of us to do better. As Hispanics, we are facing the exact same problem that the country is facing as a whole. We're united by our belief in the American dream, but we are still divided. How we can overcome this is just by unification. That's the key. Uniting, unifying. We are fragmented, but we need pride, right? The Star unites us towards a common goal. The Hispanic Star is a platform to unify the Hispanic community and showcase our incredible contributions to this country. That's the Hispanic Star. The star is a combination between the star, a well-known American symbol, and the ñ, the N with the tilde on the top, the most common Hispanic accentuation. So that's the star, the first one, then you get the ñ, the tilde, and then the Hispanic Star. That's where that came from. An iconic brand for Latino empowerment, unity, and pride. One symbol that unites us all. We need a unifying platform for all of us to use, whether you're Mexican, Colombian, Venezuelan, anyone, any of our allies. Think, and this is from Claudia Edelman Romo. She is the founder of Hispanic Star through We Are All Human. Think of the rainbow for the LGBTQ community. What she wants is this to be a unifying symbol for our community. Oops, sorry. A symbol that helps move from invisible to visible. We've been shining all along, but it's like if we had a massive cloud in front of us, only acting together we can remove it so that our stars can shine. America's made of stars, and Hispanics are one of them. Let's move together from invisible to visible, from takers to makers. We need to be seen, heard, and valued. And this is an image of one of the meetings I attended at the United Nations, where I learned first about the Hispanic Star and how it's uniting Hispanics and uniting companies and understanding the platform. The time has come, and with the support of Hispanic Star, we aim to make this year bigger, bolder, and better than ever before. Hispanic Heritage Month is one of the moments in the year that undeniably belongs to us, or to the community of Hispanics. It may seem that this means that for the other 11 months of the year, Hispanics can be invisible. No, that's not the case at all. But we're repurposing Hispanic Heritage Month to elevate the collective narrative of Hispanics and Mexicans and everyone in every country that came to this country or was in this country, to maximize recognition for all of the contributions in order for us to be visible and relevant to the rest of the year. And the opportunity has given itself during Hispanic Heritage Month to represent that importance and to allow us the opportunity to educate where it started, where it came from, and why. But this year in particular, the movement for the Hispanic Star has been to become bigger, bolder, and better. And what that means is that we partner with different organizations. We bring together different nonprofit organizations, and we did that the first week of September 15th on the 17th. And we awarded Hispanic Stars in Colorado. We awarded different leaders in the community that showed outstanding leadership during the pandemic to help the community. Last year during the pandemic, we were able to help over 4,000 people with food, with an opportunity to get utility bills paid, those that lost their jobs. We're able to feed the hungry. We're able to do so much because we partner with so many organizations through Hispanic Star, and we partner with different companies that were able to help meet those needs during a very serious time in this year. We're rising above barriers. We're rising above disparities. We're rising above expectations, fear, limits. And so it's very important to understand nationwide that during this Hispanic Heritage Month, there's an opportunity to know that there's Hispanic stars in this country. And as a result of that, we've put together a toolkit that helps companies have a unifying messaging framework, have data sets, information, branding, communication, whatever it is that you might need in order to get what you need to provide to your team or your company in order to make Hispanic Heritage Month increasingly more powerful and substantial. And so it's a complete activation toolkit. It's available to whoever would like it and whoever wants to use it. And there's so much in there, not only to share, but there's education, resources, material that you can share, and lots of data that you can share with your community, share with your groups, share with your, if you have an ERG, NRG, whatever it's called, or whoever you would like to share with, and you can customize it as desired. The time is for Hispanics is now. We're Hispanic Stars, and together we shine. And I decided to make my presentation on behalf of Hispanic Star and with Hispanic Star hand in hand, as a leader and as a professional, because I believe in the movement. I believe in the unity, and I believe in the data, and also in the fact that the time is now for us to become bigger, bolder, and understand the opportunity that we have to educate all of our colleagues and friends, and provide resources and provide an opportunity for stars, Hispanic stars, to shine. Thank you. That's my presentation.
Thank you so much, Jackie. So now we just want to open it up for questions. Does anybody have any questions for Jackie?
And I don't know how to stop sharing.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, great. Jackie, I do have a question. So it sounds like you guys have worked with a lot of companies, and I know that you have a toolkit for, messaging and all of those things. What strategies have you seen work really well with companies who are, implementing some tools or any tools that could be helpful for this kind of initiative?
Absolutely. So what we've seen happen thus far has been taking that Hispanic Star promise. It's a promise, basically. So it's more of a promise that you'll be able to be a part of the Hispanic Star, elevate, and more than anything, take the opportunity to see the value of not the movement, but the people in your company. Oh, sorry, was that in the company? And use the toolkit. What they've done is used a toolkit to reinforce that Hispanic Star promise that they've signed as a company to become a part of Hispanic Star. So all that does is gives you the opportunity to provide these tools to your company, and so you can tailor them and make them, make them yours as much as you'd like. They're free to use, but the most important part here is that Hispanic Star promise. It's a promise that you'll be able to be a part as a corporation or a company or an organization of the platform movement that's happening, which is a Hispanic Star, and thus allowing the opportunity to use these toolkits. And so what we've seen as a result of that, we've seen a lot of partnerships, growth, networking opportunities, a lot of unity happening across different companies and just different organizations. A lot of that has been happening where the Hispanic Star movement is just kind of rising and moving along and just kind of spreading in a way, in a more 2021 way, going viral, right? in a way to say it. And so it's been a very informative opportunity, as well as an opportunity that it has come out of it is just that networking possibility and that connection that it brings through the We Are All Human Foundation and the Hispanic Star movement. And also, the people in the company start understanding and seeing the opportunity of, like, for example, if you were to bring that to me, I'm a Hispanic, I see the value that you have for me as a Hispanic.
Okay, great. So it sounds like partnerships are a good way to kind of increase this kind of awareness building around the bringing Hispanics up into the equity realm. We do have a comment from Glenn in the chat box. He said, we'd be interested in learning ways that Hispanic Star or others can help us increase applicant flow of Hispanic applicants for open positions. Can you speak to anything like that?
So I guess that's where I wear my president hat for Prispanica. So Prispanica is the National Society, used to be the National Society of Hispanic MBAs. And Prispanica, what we do is that's precisely what we do. We provide opportunities to our members to have first dibs, I guess, if you will, into job opportunities all across the nation. So you would have an opportunity to be a partner with Prispanica. And so that's a little bit different from the Hispanic Star. That's more of a movement and bringing unity across the country. And Prispanica is more of a membership-based opportunity to where we help different individuals connect with companies and corporations for job placement and job opportunities. So we've partnered with Dish, we've partnered with Charles Schwab, we've partnered with Cobank, and so on and so forth. And so what happens is that we provide different packets and opportunities to be able to showcase your company and have the opportunity to get Hispanic talent in your pipeline. And that's Prispanica.
Okay.
And I wanted to read to you this really quick, if you give me a little, it's really short. The Hispanic Promise is the first of its kind national pledge to hire, promote, retain, and celebrate Hispanics in the workplace. Launched at the World Economic Forum in 2019, the Hispanic Promise is a non-legally binding sign of intention. That's basically what the companies are doing. Result of the joint effort of the multiple Hispanic organizations as a call to action for business leaders and companies of corporate America to create a more inclusive work environment for Hispanics. The promise also represents an opportunity for those companies already engaged in inclusion and diversity to showcase their commitment as a Hispanic-friendly place. By signing on the Hispanic Promise, your company will showcase its commitment to create a more inclusive environment for Hispanics. So that's basically what the pledge would be, that Hispanic Promise I spoke about. And so that allows that opportunity.
Great. Okay, great. I do have a hand raised. Let me see who it is. David, why don't you take it away?
Yeah. Hey, Jackie. This is David in Virginia Beach. So can you pull that slide, the minority within the minority again? That gap is very disturbing, because it seems that per that slide, the more advanced degree a female Latina gets, the bigger the gap. Why is that? And
Which slide was that?
how would do you have data for other cultures or for white women, for example? Is that trend the same?
You know, I don't have that for other cultures. Oh, here it is. We're a Latina, you can count on us. Is that the one you were? Oh, Latina is the minority within the minority. Got it.
Yeah.
The 25% gap, 32% bachelor's. I see what you're saying. 37% gap advanced degree. No, I don't have the one for other different ethnic backgrounds, but I can definitely get it, because part of what We're All Human does is collect data in all ends. So I can do that for you, David, for sure, and send it to Natalie so she can forward to you to have more of a perspective. But to answer your question in terms of the higher the gap, so the higher the education level, the higher the gap. It's because there's still less Latinas going into those fields, and still that's the whole reason why I said in this season I want to empower Latinas, and I want us to feel that they're able to get to that particular level of professional lifestyle, or even that advanced degree, because there's been a gap in terms of like the desire or the want or the belief in that area. That's one I know of, but I can absolutely send you more information on the gap that is more fact-based and provide that to you.
Yes, thank you.
Great. Are there any other questions for Jackie?
Oh, there you are.
So Joe Bravo, has a comment in the box. So going along with Glenn's request to increase our Hispanic pool, what is ECC's current percentage of Hispanic or Latino staff? And is the pool in decline? If so, what do you think is the reason for the decline? Jackie, I don't think this is a question for you, more for our organization. I don't have those stats. I think
if I can jump in, Natalie, I think so, and I don't have them at my fingertips either, Joe, but I can look them up and get them out to you. My sense is the number's not in decline, but it's always been low. So it's always been kind of lower than where we would like to see it, but it's kind of been pretty stable at that number. And you know, some of that just kind of tracks where we're working and what projects we're on, and you know, geographically where we're located. But it's kind of always historically been a little bit in certain categories more than others. It's been a little bit lower than we'd like it.
Thanks, Glenn. Any other questions? Going once, going twice. I just want to say a couple of words here. Jackie, this has been really informative for us. I know a lot of you on the call have probably heard that we're launching ECC One World, which not only encompasses, you know, Hispanics, but all diversity and inclusion across ECC. So it's interesting to get a perspective of, you know, what other companies are doing and what Hispanic Star is doing and the other organizations that you're working with, and how it's benefiting companies. I think there's a lot for us to learn from that, not just with Hispanics, but also, you know, representing all of our other, you know, people and within ECC. So this has been really, really informative, and we really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. And for those of you, just to put in a plug, if you haven't gotten, you know, your heritage outfit or costume or what have you, please go ahead and submit a photo to ECC One World. We really, you know, this is an educational moment for us. We would love to see, you know, the background that you came from. So please do submit by October 21st. And we will have our kickoff meeting on October 22nd. So Jackie, thank you so much again. We appreciate you. And this video will be posted this week and be sent out through my weekly emails. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And I'll send that information to you. Those were great questions. And I believe that it's a good question and a good answer to have. So I'll send that to you.
Great. All right. Thank you so much. And everybody have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you, Natalie. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity.
Thank you, Jackie. All right.